morning, everyone. Alright, yesterday we finished the book of Judith, and now we're going to start on the Greek version of the book of Esther. Alright, here's the introduction. The book of Esther in Greek is a translation, adaptation, and expansion of the book of Esther in Hebrew. The chain of events is much the same, but there are many variations in text, including different proper names and a strong religious tone. The 6 editions shown as chapter A through F in translation provide a different introduction and conclusion, introduce documents in an official style, and emphasize the religious elements by the addition of prayers and accounts of how they were answered. Alright. It's different. Mordecai's strange dream. Mordecai, a Jew who belonged to the tribe of Benjamin, was taken into exile along with King Jehoiachin of Judah. When King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon captured Jerusalem, Mordecai was the son of Jair, a descendant of Kish and Shimei. He now lived in the Persian city of Susa, where he was an important official in the royal court of Xerxes the great king. During the 2nd year of Xerxes' reign, on the 1st day of the month of Nisan, Mordecai had a dream. He dreamed there was a great noise and confusion, loud thunder and an earthquake, with terrible turmoil on the earth. Then 2 huge dragons appeared, ready to fight each other. They made a dreadful noise, and all the nations got ready to make war against God's nation of righteous people. For the world it was a day of darkness and gloom, trouble and distress, and destruction and ruin. All of God's righteous people were troubled in great fear of what was about to happen to them. They prepared for death, but they cried out to God for help. In the dream their prayer was answered by a great river which came flowing out of a small spring. The day dawned, the sun rose, and a humble people were made strong and destroyed their arrogant enemies. Mordecai woke up from this dream which he saw what God planned to do. He thought about it all day and tried to understand what it meant. While Mordecai was resting in the courtyard of the palace, where the 2 of the king's eunuchs, Gabbatha and Thara, were on guard, he overheard them plotting together. He listened carefully to what they were saying and learned that they were making plans to kill the king. So Mordecai went to King Xerxes and told him about the plot of the 2 eunuchs. The king had them questioned, and when they confessed, they were led away and executed. The king had an account of this written in the official records, and Mordecai also wrote an account of it. Then the king appointed Mordecai to a position at court and gave him many gifts as a reward for what he had done. But Haman, son of Hammedatha, a Bulgarian, who was respected by the king, tried to cause trouble for Mordecai and his people, the Jews, because Mordecai had been responsible for the death of 2 eunuchs. These things happened in the same time King Xerxes, who ruled 127 provinces all the way from India to Sudan, from his royal throne in Susa, Persia's capital city. In the 3rd year of his reign, the king gave a banquet for all his advisors, the representatives of the other countries, the noblemen of Persia and Media, for the governors of the provinces. For the 6 whole months he made a show of the riches of the imperial court with magnificent and expensive celebrations. After the feast, the king gave a banquet for the people of other nations who were in the city. It lasted a week and was held in the palace courtyard, which was decorated with linen and cotton curtains held by cords of purple linen attached to silver and gold blocks on marble and stone columns. That sounds pretty. Couches made of gold and silver had been placed in the courtyard, which was paved with green and white marble and mother of pearl. The couches were spread with a fine thin fabric of many colors with roses around the edges. There were gold and silver cups, and one of them, decorated with jewels more than 1,000 tons of silver, had been set out for display. There was plenty of good wine from the king's own supply. There were no limits on the drinks. The king had given orders to the palace servants that they should provide him and his guests with as much as they wanted. Meanwhile, inside the royal palace, Queen Vashti was giving a banquet for the women. On the 7th day of the banquet, the king was feeling happy, so he called in the 7 eunuchs who were his personal servants: Haman, Bazan, Thara, Horez, Zatholta, Abatazah, and Tharaba. He ordered them to bring in the queen so that he could place the royal crown on her head and show her off to the officials and all his guests. For she was a beautiful woman. But Queen Vashti refused to obey and would not come with the servants. This embarrassed the king and made him furious. He told his advisors about Vashti's reply and asked them to give a legal opinion about what he should do. 3 of them, who were closest to the king and held the highest office, came and told him what the law required, what should be done to Queen Vashti for disobeying the command that he had given her. Through his servants, they were Archelaus, Sarasatheus, and Malsir, officials of Persia and Media. Then the king told his officials and the governors of Media and Persia how the queen had defied him. So Mucius said to the king and everyone present, "Queen Vashti has insulted not only you, but all of us as well. As soon as our wives hear what the queen has done, they will be bold enough to defy their husbands and treat them with disrespect in the same way that Vashti has treated you. If then it please your majesty, issue a royal proclamation that Vashti may never again appear before the king. Have it written in the laws of Media and Persia. Then give her place as queen to some better woman. There is no other way. When your proclamation is made known all over this empire, then every woman will treat her husband with proper respect, whether he is rich or poor." The king and his officials liked this idea, and the king did as Mucius suggested. To each of the royal provinces he sent a message in the language of that province, saying that every husband must be respected in his own home. Chapter 2. Esther becomes queen. Later the king's anger cooled down. Although he no longer mentioned Vashti, he kept thinking about how he had condemned her. So some of the king's advisors suggested, "Why don't you make a search to find some beautiful young girl of good character? You can appoint officials in every province of the empire and have them bring all these beautiful young virgins to your harem here in Susa. Put them in your care of Haggai, the eunuch who is in charge of your women, and let them be given cosmetics and whatever else they may need. Then take the girl you like best and make her queen in Vashti's place." The king thought it was a good advice, so he followed it. There in Susa lived a Jew named Mordecai, son of Jair. He was from the tribe of Benjamin and a descendant of Kish and Shimei. He was among the captives whom King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon had taken into exile from Jerusalem. Mordecai was the guardian of Esther, the daughter of his uncle, Aminadab. She was a beautiful girl, and after the death of her parents, Mordecai brought her up until she was grown. When the king had issued this new proclamation, many girls were being brought to Susa, and Esther was among them. She too was put in the royal palace in the care of Haggai, who had charge of harem. Haggai liked Esther, and she won his favor. He lost no time in beginning her beauty treatment of massage and special diet. He assigned 7 girls specially chosen from the royal palace to serve her, and he treated her and her servants well. Now, on the advice of Mordecai, Esther had kept secret the fact that she was Jewish. Every day Mordecai would walk back and forth in front of the courtyard of the harem, watching to see what was going to happen to her. The regular beauty treatment for the young women lasted a year, massages with oil of myrrh for 6 months, and with beauty creams and cosmetics for 6 more. After that, each girl was handed over to the person appointed to conduct her from the harem to the palace, and she was taken to the king. She would go there in the evening, and next morning she would be taken to another harem and put in care of Haggai, the eunuch in charge. She would not go to the king again unless he asked for her by name. The time came for Esther, the daughter of Amminadab, the uncle of Mordecai, to go to the king. She had done everything that Haggai had advised, and she was admired by everyone who saw her. So in Xerxes' 7th year as king, in the 12th month, the month of Adar, she was brought to the king. He fell in love with Esther, who pleased him more than any of the others, and he placed a queen's crown on her head. Then the king gave her a week-long banquet for all his advisors and administrators to celebrate his marriage to Esther. He also granted a reduction of taxes for the whole empire. Meanwhile, Mordecai had been appointed to the high administrative position. As for Esther, she had still not let it be known that she was Jewish. Mordecai had told her not to tell anyone, and she obeyed him in this, just as she obeyed him when she was a little girl under his care. She continued to worship God and carry out God's commands without abandoning her Jewish ways. When the king promoted Mordecai to a higher position, the 2 palace eunuchs, who were officers of the king's bodyguard, became angry and plotted to assassinate the king. Mordecai learned about it and told Queen Esther, who then told the king the details of the plot. The king had the 2 men questioned, and both men were hanged. To honor Mordecai, the king ordered an account of this to be written down on the royal records so that his valuable service would be remembered. All right, I'm going to go ahead and leave off on chapter 3. I'll start that tomorrow. As always, have a great day. God bless you guys. Keep praying. Love you.